The Deering Woods, also known as Screaming Woods, are situated in Kent, between the villages of Smarden and Pluckley. They are reputed to be the most haunted woods in Britain, and they were given their name because of the many reports of people hearing terrifying screams coming from the forest at night, or footsteps and whispers during the days of fog. The forest is said to be haunted by the ghosts of the people who get lost in them. In particular, the locals mention a steady army colonel of the 18th century and a highwayman who was captured by the villagers, pinned to the trees, and beheaded. Many from nearby villages swear to have seen a black shadows following them while they were traveling across the forest. The wood is also famous for presenting one of their oldest nolophagic sites in the world. British psychiatrist B. Josephson has studied the pheromone for years during his research as Cavendish Laboratory for the Mind Matter Unification Project, documenting everything in peer-reviewed paper for quantitative measurement of decoherence. A link between the consciousness of the group of pharaonic characterization of hyperplanes and existence. In recent interview that he criticized the skeptical approach of many scientists. The trouble seems to be the scientific community is not aware of these results because of very little of his work was published in journals like Nature and Science, and the work was often ridiculed when it was published in respectful physics in journals. He then cites the examples of the paper on quantum mechanics of the Henry Stapp, who of the Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory that contained the reference to physiology. The physics have an emotional response when they hear anything connected with the psychology. They say that their opinion of parapsychology research is not based on the evaluation of evidence, but on the dogmatic belief that in all research in this field is false. The woodland has been at the center of attention for ephemera for many years. On the morning of November 1st, 1948, 20 people from Maltman's area were found dead, 11 who were children, and the bodies were formed in massive piles of human flesh, and they didn't present any wound. Many reported seeing strange sights and lights coming from the forest on the night of Halloween, when the massacre took place. The autopsies could not determine the cause of their death, and after weeks of the locals, authorities quickly ended up investigation, stating that there was a cause of carbon monoxide poisoning. The behavior raised questions about possible involvement and the police in a matter of time. In 1964, private investigator Robert Collins conducted in-depth witness interviews were designed to uncover hints about the alleged activity of an unknown religious cult in the village of Smarden. His research stopped after he died of a tragic car accident the following year. The Deering Woods is home for another mystery when on October 1998, on the same night on 50 years before, 4 college students who were visiting the forest went missing after people from Pluckery reported seeing figures of light similar to spider webs in the sky. Their bodies were never found, and after 3 weeks, the police investigation has stopped. And that, my little pretties, was The Deering Woods, a creepypasta. My final thoughts on this story? A pretty good pasta, actually. I'm not gonna lie. This is actually a pretty good creepypasta for what this story really was. Now, this one, I'm going to be 100% honest, is a pretty interesting creepypasta. Although I would have to say it has a pretty good concept for, how this really is. Such as, this is based on the urban legends of, what's actually going on. I mean, I'm not gonna lie when I say this. This actually is, well, pretty believable, actually. Like everything that was described in there, that took place years ago and all that. I mean, it's actually very, well, believable in this sense. Now, there are some links that show about the evidence of what's going on, as well as, some pictures that helped it. Like, I obviously can see right now that this story honestly was pretty good. Like, I mean, I'm gonna be saying this right now that I'm looking that I think this is maybe some sort of myth or something, but yet again I don't really know about this cuz I was never taught about this kind of subject. This one I think was you know written sometime in 2014 or 2015 if I could remember. I'm not really sure to be honest. Maybe that might be just me though. So, now, I mean, some people say that it's fake and all, but I'm not really sure if it's real or fake. I might do some research on that and maybe make a follow-up video on that or something, but well, for one thing I'm going to definitely say was that it's a pretty interesting creepypasta. Now, Pluckery is indeed a real town in Britain, and it received a record for most haunted village in Britain, which that's pretty interesting. I don't know if these stories are true, but everyone writes the volumes about, what they believe in and all that. I mean, the grammar was pretty good in this story, same with the sentence structure and all that. But I would have to really say this right now that this was obviously a really great story, and I mean, that's just a pretty good story for what it is. It's beautiful, it's well made, it's pretty good to be honest. I mean, I have no idea who or what's been, causing all the disappearances of the people who go there. That's honestly something I've been, kind of wanting to know. My guess is that there's probably something paranormal or something going on, or it could be, well, something happening in the woods at night or something. I mean, I don't really know, but I'm just taking a guess. You guys might have your own opinions, to be honest, so yeah, I'm just gonna say this now. It's a good story, yes. I honestly found this story to be, rather good in this sense. It does have a pretty good explanation for what this story really is. There's definitely a lot of time and effort into the story. The grammar is good. Same with the sentence structure and storyline. And I honestly really think that this story actually did pretty good. So, I guess with that being the case and with that being said, I'm going to sit here and say this now. The only thing that kind of has me confused is, what actually it was, are these all real or they were all made up? Now, maybe that's me, but I really don't know because I'm kind of sitting here and, kind of thinking about this because, this story, I mean, it is good for what it is, not gonna lie, but it does have some things that kind of need to be resolved in a sense. Maybe that's just me, but yeah. I mean, this story was not a terrible story. I think it was a pretty good story for what it is. It does have a pretty good, concept for what it is. I really do find that the story of its own self was, it's a well-written story and it does have, a great opportunity for, this story to have a good interesting concept. So, yeah. It other than that, it's a good story. I think it's pretty neat for what it is. Maybe not the best story in the world, but I think this story did pretty good. But I mean, I'm not really sure who the original author of this story is, so there's that. I'm not sure who the original author of this story is, so I'm just gonna leave it anonymous for now. If I ever find out who the original author of this story is, I'll be sure to give him or her proper credit if they find the stories and they comment saying that he or she or they or them wrote it. I'll definitely let them know about that. But with that being said, I'm gonna sit here and say this now. This is just simply my own personal opinion, and if you happen to disagree with me, that's fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions regards to these creepypastas, and this is simply my own personal thoughts. My final rating of this story would have to be I'm gonna give this one a 10 out of 10. Well, you know what? I'm gonna give this one an 8.5 out of 10. Mainly because some of the stuff didn't really, add up, and some of the stuff is kind of confusing in a sense. Maybe if somebody read this story, maybe give me a better explanation as to if these events were real or not. Maybe that would actually help. But yet again, I'm gonna sit here and say now, I honestly found this story to be confusing, but it's not a bad story. I'm definitely saying that now. It's not a bad story, but it is confusing, to be fair here with this. So, anyways, what did you guys think about this story? Did you enjoy it? Did you not? Also, what we have done person to help make this story a lot better? Feel free to leave me know what your thoughts are down in the comments below. I'm the Queen of Lions. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. And if you're brand new here to this channel, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe because I make brand new videos every single day. Don't forget to ring the notification bell to when I upload so that way you guys will not miss an upload. And as always, please roll the outro because I'm out.